Bring Her Back is the newest movie brought to us by Danny and Michael Philippou, most famously known as, well, for their YouTube channel first and foremost, but also as the directors as the highly successful and awesome horror movie Talk to Me. This movie revolves around a brother and a sister. Their dad dies. They're now being placed into foster care. They're taken in by a new foster mother played by Sally Hawkins, who also has a foster son of her own in her house with her. But it does not take long for them to realize once they get into this house that there's something very off with Sally Hawkins, very off with her foster son, and there could be something very malicious going on here. Right when I saw the trailer for this movie, it became a movie I was highly looking forward to. Not necessarily because of the trailer itself, although the trailer did look very good, but that it was being brought to us by the directors of Talk to Me. I think Talk to Me is one of the best horror movies in recent years. It was original, it was thought-provoking, I loved how it touched on specific themes, and above all, it was scary. With that movie, the Philippou brothers left a clear benchmark on what they can do in the horror genre, which made me very excited for what they were going to do next. Part of me thought they were just going to go straight into a Talk to Me sequel, which it kind of seemed like they were going to for a while, but no, they decided to bring us this movie first. And now with Bring Her Back, I can say right now, these two are very established directors for themselves, and are getting that much closer to superstardom. I really dug this one. Starting off with what works in Bring Her Back, I thought the cast all around did a really good job here. Starting off with the siblings, Billy Barrett and Sora Wan. I don't know if I've seen these two in anything beforehand, but I thought they were great for the roles they needed to play in this movie. I start with Billy Barrett. He's the older brother. He feels an overwhelming amount of responsibility towards his little sister. He wants to ultimately take over as her guardian, but he's not of age yet. So for now, the two of them have to go into foster care. And you see a lot of frustration in him. You see a lot of stubbornness in him. Like, he doesn't want to have the state run his life. He doesn't want to live in some other person's home. He wants to be in charge of the two of them. And you completely buy him as this very protective brother. I mean, he doesn't want his sister and himself going into the protection and responsibility of a complete stranger. He wants to be in charge of that. So not only do you see this large amount of responsibility that he has over wanting to provide for his little sister, but you also see this giant level of stress that is on him. I mean, he's dealing with a lot of pain that's going on in his life, the loss that his family has endured, what he's had to take on because of that, and how much he's looking to the future and what he wants for himself and for her. He's the kind of guy you want to root for, and he's the kind of guy that when shit hits the fan for him, you absolutely just feel for him. Your heart breaks for this guy. Sora Wan, I also thought did really well in this movie. In real life, I guess she's blind in one eye. I believe that's what I heard, but in the movie, she's almost completely blind. I think she's like, I don't know, is it farsighted or nearsighted? I don't really know which one I'm talking about right now, but I know in the movie she's basically blind. But I liked seeing that element with her character because in this one, she relies a lot more heavily on her older brother, but also because of that, she also has this level of trust that she kind of automatically has to put in certain characters. When she can't see exactly what's happening, or when she can't tell exactly what's going on, she's kind of forced to believe whatever people tell her. She's gonna rely on other senses in her body that may either steer in the right direction or may make her believe something that's not true. And you see the protective side that her older brother has for her, and you immediately latch onto it as well because you can tell with her, she's the target of something that's gonna go wrong. You're sitting there screaming at the screen and her like, no, you gotta listen to this, or no, you have to believe what's happening here, or no, don't give in to this. Like, this is a movie that made you care about so many different characters in this movie, and in a horror movie, you kind of walk into this expecting yourself to just, you know, expect people to die. But the Philippou brothers, with their movies, have done an excellent job of getting you to care about these people. You're not necessarily rooting for them to die. You're not necessarily rooting for them to be off for the sake of being scared or having some gore or anything like that. You want these people to make it through. And yeah, biggest standout of this movie where I felt the real horror and unsettling nature of this movie came from, Sally Hawkins was terrific in this movie. Right out the gate, when you see her, there is something off with this woman. She's a little overly nice. She's maybe trying a little too hard to keep the kids entertained or, you know, keep the kids happy, but in a way that's just very off-putting. Like the way she talks, immediately you feel uncomfortable, you feel uneasy with her. Like, she's trying to get to know these kids, but you know there's something with her that just doesn't feel right. And as the movie goes along, she does some despicable things, some horrific things, the stuff that just really makes your skin crawl, it makes you feel gross. She's the type of character that you grow to hate in the movie, but there are also certain points in the movie where, again, you undeniably feel bad for her because she's dealt with loss of her own. And again, just like Talk to Me, here the Philippou brothers take themes, put them into this movie to make it feel a little bit deeper. Like the thing that I loved most about Talk to Me is its themes. It delved on addiction and peer pressure and loss. This movie also delves into loss, but in the other side of that, you know, how you deal with grief and what you would do to see someone you lost again, or if you feel like something's your fault, manipulation. Like, people go into horror movies to be scared. The Philippou brothers want to do that for you as well, but they add that little extra to it to give you something else out of the movie, and I really appreciate that. As a result of that, although this movie is a horror movie, I would see it more as a psychological drama thriller of sorts. Because this movie for me was not as scary as Talk to Me, but this movie delves into more of the psychological pain and issues that people go through in loss. As a result, it's a movie that makes you feel emotional, makes you feel a lot of sympathy for these characters, and it makes you grow attached to them, it makes you feel their pain. It's the added layer in horror movies that we don't get very often, but these guys bring it to us. But shifting back to the horror element for a second, I will say, I don't think this movie went for being scary necessarily. This movie wanted to go for more of the disturbing element that you can have in horror movies. And yeah, does this movie disturb the fucking shit out of you? Absolutely it does. I mean, I already mentioned with Sally Hawkins, some of the things she does and the way she acts and how she treats certain characters, that alone is enough to make your skin crawl, make you angry, make you feel a very type of way. But this is where I also want to give credit to Jonah Wren Phillips, who plays her foster son that was already in the house when the two kids show up. Holy shit, this kid is a really fucking good actor. Because part of what immediately puts you on edge with this movie is when you meet him, you know there's something wrong. He doesn't talk, he doesn't behave himself, he doesn't like being around people, he's kind of just kept in his room the whole time, and whenever he's brought out of his room, something horrible goes wrong. And with this kid, it's a lot of body horror, it's a lot of really disturbing elements that he either does to other people or he does to himself. You have no idea what's wrong with him, and what I love is this movie brings you along for this sort of mystery. Like, you know something's off with this kid, the characters know there's something off with this kid, and they have no idea what it is. And that's another thing to appreciate with this movie. It's a movie that keeps you guessing. Like, you don't know exactly how the movie's gonna play out. And with this kid, he was the one that really kept you guessing the most. What is it with him? What's going on? What's his relationship really with Sally Hawkins? It keeps you engaged, it keeps you on your toes, keeps you on the edge of your seat. I love that. If there are flaws I have with this movie, I will say there are moments here where some characters make some really stupid decisions for themselves. Like, there are moments like one character gets a hold of something that they really probably shouldn't be having a hold of, and one character is like, alright, well, you hold on to that while I just turn my back real quick and just see what else I can do here. Like, it's moments like that I'm like, alright, you really should not have done that, but yeah, you really shouldn't have. Led to a lot of problems for another character that put this character in a big hole, and yeah, could have all been avoided if they just weren't so, I don't know, unattentive. Also, when it comes to the horror element that's in this movie, I do think this movie briefly shows little bits and pieces to what the overall goal here is with a certain character. But I do wish the movie could have delved a little bit deeper into the lore, into the history, just a bit more than it did. Now, I get it. The movie doesn't want to spell everything out for you. It doesn't want to make it completely easy for you. I could very easily see this movie getting a Bring Her Back explained video on YouTube that I will probably watch at some point. But no, for me personally, while I am glad the movie didn't explain everything and left some stuff up for us to interpret, I do think there's an area they could have explained a little bit more to us, just to make us understand how a certain character was delving into a certain sort of idea. I'm trying to be vague for you guys, but that's the best way I would describe it. So all in all, I thought Bring Her Back was great. The cast across the board did a great job. The three kid actors in this movie all were excellent in their own way. Sally Hawkins in particular, though, she absolutely kills it in this movie. I mean, one of the most disturbing characters I've seen in a horror movie in a very long time. It's not the most terrifying movie we'll ever experience, but it's definitely one of the most disturbing you'll see in a while, that's for sure. Had me on the edge of my seat, had me cringing, had me wanting to look away from some of the shit I had to see. It's a movie that really makes you feel for its characters. You want people to make it out alive, you want people to get better, you want people to get right. I loved how it touched on the various themes of grief and loss and manipulation, and just how far you will go for the people that you love. It's a very well-paced movie, kept me locked in and engaged to it the entire time. In the end, some people may be ready to say the Philippou brothers are the new masters of the horror genre. I don't know if I can go that far just yet, but they're getting there for me, that's for sure. I'm gonna give Bring Her Back an 8 out of 10, which makes this one worth buying on physical home media.
Shut up and take my money.
If the Talk to Me sequel is indeed next on their radar, I really hope that movie crushes it, because I really want these two to just continue this great streak they've set for themselves. Great example for YouTubers out there who want to pursue filmmaking, that's for sure. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.